My name is Caroline Sallen, and I am a special education teacher at Boone High School in Boone, Iowa. This presentation is on post-secondary community involvement and parental support for young adults with special needs. It is important for young adults with special needs to have both parental support and be involved in the community. The article titled Extent of Parental Involvement in Improving the Students' Lives in Special Education Programs in Kuwait, published in the Journal of Instructional Psychology, was a research study which investigated the degree to which parental involvement impacts students' levels in special education programs in Kuwait. The results of this study showed parental involvement in the special education programs is critical to the continued development of children with special needs. This study shows how important the parents' roles can be in their children's special schools and educational programs. Overall, a major conclusion of the study was that the benefits for parental involvement with children of special needs impacts families, society, and the country in a positive way. It is important for parents to encourage their child to succeed in life, both at school and outside of school. When parents are supportive of students with special needs and keep their child to high standards, they will be more successful in school and life. As teachers, we need to make sure we are involving the parents in their child's education the best we can. We need to keep them updated on their child's progress in our classroom and their overall progress at school. We can do this by sending frequent phone calls home and messages. Classroom newsletters are also a very good way to send information home to all parents. We need to make sure parents feel welcome and valued when we talk to them. We can invite all parents to parent-teacher conferences. The more that parents are involved, the better it is for the full family. Now we're going to talk about community participation of students with special needs, specifically problem behaviors. So the article titled Family Perspectives on Inclusive Lifestyles for People with Problem Behavior examined inclusive lifestyles associated with community participation for people with special needs, specifically problem behaviors. Example of problem behaviors in the study include aggression towards others, property destruction, and self-injurious behavior. For this study, interviews were conducted with 17 families of children, youth, and adults with problem behavior. All of the people with problem behavior in the study have participated in a special education program. Families paid much less attention to issues associated in activities in a community setting other than school. The 3 people with problem behavior in this study, who are all adults, who most actively participated in the community, had friends and engaged in community activities with their friends. Thus, families gave lower priority to community inclusion, not because families thought it was unimportant, but because of time and energy limitations, unavailability of other companionship, and family and others' perception of worry, fear, and embarrassment about problem behavior and special needs children in public. Approximately 1/3 of families mentioned participating in at least one community activity, for example, shopping, clubs, and recreational settings. Families identified several strategies as helping foster community participation, including having a companion to support the person, having a car that the companion could drive, having the companion go along with families on recreational outings, encouraging the individual with problem behavior to participate in a special population's recreational program, and learning as a family to minimize their own worry, fear, and embarrassment about problem behavior in public, and learning to ignore other stares and disapproving reactions to their child with special needs and problem behaviors. Several families pointed out the importance of inclusive school experiences as a catalyst for expanded opportunity to participate in the community. Because children and youth had instruction in school that was carried out in community settings or that generalized to community settings, families then could participate in those same community activities with their child because of the child's enhanced competence. Interestingly, when children could participate in the community, then the family could do that as well and avoid isolating themselves. One parent commented, "Now we are able to go bowling with our family. At Christmas time, our 4-H club had a party at a bowling alley. And because our son Patrick knows what to do at the bowling alley, he was quite able to do that at the party with us. He uses a ramp. They have a snack bar there, and he knows about getting and eating snacks at the bowling alley, where to sit, what to do, and not to grab others' food or drinks." This is an example of a success story of a parent who has a child with special needs who is now able to participate in the community. So, as teachers, we need to make sure we are providing our students with the skills necessary to feel comfortable in the community. In my classroom, I have a fake grocery store that my students can shop at weekly. And then, once a month, we go to the grocery store to make sure students can feel comfortable at the grocery store and knowledgeable how to shop at the grocery store. This can be done for many community settings. Making sure that our students are able to participate with the general education students when appropriate is important. When our students are able to interact with their peers, they begin to feel more comfortable developing relationships with others. Another awesome way for students with special needs to participate in the community is through camps, such as summer camps. One specific camp is called Easter Seals. Easter Seals is a summer camp for people with disabilities. When people with disabilities attend summer camps, they are able to have memorable experiences and they get to create lasting friendships. Even the camp counselors at Easter Seals seem to be impacted by their job. One camp counselor, Ryan Coughlin, worked at Easter Seals over the summer. Ryan spent 2 weeks at the Hidden Valley Easter Seal Camp of New Hampshire, painting, weeding, cleaning, and helping children with disabilities. Ryan's experience was described in an article titled "Feeling Good About a Summer Job." Coughlin is a junior at Longmeadow High School and is a 3-sport athlete as well as an Eagle Scout, so he is no stranger to hard work. At first, when he arrived at Easter Seals, he did not know what to expect. But it was a successful job, and he was able to summarize his experience by saying, "I made some great friends, and I would love to do it again." Camps offer great opportunities for students with special needs to improve their confidence, increase self-esteem, and establish important communication skills and friendships that they can carry into their adult life. As teachers, we can make sure parents and students are aware of camps for students with special needs. We can give them the resources required to apply for financial assistance if needed. Summer camps are a great way for students to interact with others as well as be involved in the community simply beyond their classroom. Housing. The transition from high school to adult life for people with disabilities is challenging. Many people with disabilities will be faced with figuring out housing arrangements. According to an article titled "The Road Ahead: Transition to Adult Life for Persons with Disabilities" in the Education and Treatment of Children Journal, Davis describes different types of living arrangements individuals with disabilities may encounter during the transition process. She discusses the continuum of residential settings, ranging from large group facilities to independent living. She argues that the continuum of services has many disadvantages because it legitimizes institutional settings and it allows for the least restrictive settings if the individual has demonstrated appropriate prerequisite skills. She then introduces and promotes the concept of supported living, where people with disabilities receive the type and degree of support needed to live in the residential arrangement of their choice, regardless of their physical or intellectual disability. From here, she describes strategies for identifying housing preferences and how to identify needed supports in a residential setting. She ends by discussing the types of personnel that may assist people in supporting living and the implication of supportive living for school. Supportive living is important because it promotes independence in individuals with disabilities. And this research article did a great job of emphasizing how critical it is to consider supported living as a step towards helping promote an individual's independence and autonomy. As teachers, we can make sure that people with disabilities are aware of their options for housing. We can meet with students and parents and local agencies to make sure that families are aware of the variety of living options. This is especially important for teachers who work in the high school with students who are getting close to graduation. In our classrooms, we can work on life skills that are associated with living independently. According to the Social Living Complex, a new all-day, year-long intervention model for individuals with autism spectrum disorder and their parents, in the Journal of Autism and Developmental Disorders, individuals with special needs experience continuous difficulties in social communication and social interactions in multiple contexts. This article proposes a new living complex that will house children with special needs, typically developing children, in their families. The reason behind this is to extend the social skills interventions for individuals with special needs to all-day and year-long experiences. It enables more social interaction opportunities for individuals with special needs, with typically developing peers of different age groups, not just their classmates or peers they see on a daily basis at school, and to decrease the psychological burden on the parents of individuals with special needs by reducing their isolation from society. So essentially, in conclusion, the Social Living Complex aims to offer an all-day, year-long intervention for children with special needs and their parents. While doing so, they aim to improve both social interaction for the child with special needs and they try to help parents cope with the stress of raising a child with special needs. While enabling the limited social interventions currently being applied to individuals with special needs to extend to multiple contexts of daily living, they also strive towards creating a more educated, accepting, and inclusive community that understands what special needs are and makes life easier for individuals and families affected by children with special needs. As a teacher, this information can be applied to my classroom in a variety of ways. I can make sure I am providing social skills instruction that will help my students have more interaction opportunities with typically developing peers. I can also make sure that my students with special needs are being included in the school environment with their typically developing peers as much as appropriate. In conclusion, community involvement and parental support for young adults with special needs is important. As a teacher, I appreciated all of the information from these various research studies on the importance of parent support and community involvement for people with special needs. I will implement these findings in my classroom to better help my students succeed in all aspects of life. As teachers, we can make sure that our students and their families are given the resources necessary to be successful and active members of our community. The information in this presentation was taken from all of these references. Thank you.